All right, let's just get right into it. If you're running a small business, you know this feeling. You've got an amazing product, you've got a team that cares, but you look around and you're up against absolute giants. So the question is, how on earth do you even start to compete?
I mean, look at this. On one side, you've got the Goliaths. They have these massive ad budgets, huge teams, a global footprint. And on the other side, well, there's you. Your budget is lean, your team is small, and your focus has to be razor sharp. It really does feel like an unfair fight, doesn't it?
And that right there is the million-dollar question. If you know you can't win by outspending the competition, you have to win by outthinking them. And that is precisely what we're going to break down in this explainer. So, what's the secret weapon here? Well, it's not about trying to play their game with less money. No way. It's about changing the game completely. And that new game is called content marketing. See, instead of shouting at people with ads that they just can't wait to skip, you attract them by genuinely helping them solve their problems. It's a huge shift in thinking, from interrupting people to becoming a trusted resource they actually go looking for. So, you might be wondering, does this stuff actually work? Oh yeah, the data is pretty clear. On average, content marketing generates 3 times more leads than old-school traditional advertising. 3 times. That's not a small tweak, that's a whole new level. And here's the kicker, especially for those of us on a tight budget. It does all that while costing, on average, 62% less. So you're getting more results for less money. Now that is how you start to compete. But why is it so incredibly effective? Well, it's because it aligns perfectly with the psychology of how people actually buy things today. It's all about being a helpful guide on their journey, not a pushy salesperson. And we can break that journey down into 3 really simple stages. Each one is defined by a different question that your customer is asking themselves. There's awareness, then consideration, and finally, decision. Your entire job is to have the right answer ready for them at each step. So first up is the awareness stage. At this point, your customer has a problem, but they might not even know what to call it yet. They're basically asking, why am I struggling with this? Your content here shouldn't sell anything. Not yet. Its job is to diagnose the problem with educational blog posts or helpful how-to guides. You just want to be the helpful expert. Okay, so once they understand their problem, their question changes. Now they're asking, what are my options for fixing this? This is the consideration stage. Now, and only now, your content can start to introduce your solution through things like case studies or comparison guides that really show how you can help. And finally, when they're leaning your way, they have one last question in their mind. Can I really trust you to solve my problem? This is the decision stage. And you close that final gap, you build that last bit of trust with clear pricing, amazing reviews, and powerful success stories from other clients. But here's where this whole strategy gets really, really powerful, especially for a small business: the long-term financial impact. This isn't just about getting a few quick sales. It's about building a real, valuable asset for your business. This comparison says it all. A traditional ad is an expense. The second you stop paying for it, poof, it's gone. But a good piece of content, that's an asset. Think of it like a digital employee that works for you 24/7, attracting customers and actually growing in value over time, all without you having to constantly feed it money. Just let that sink in for a second. Every single blog post, every guide, every little video you make becomes a tiny engine that works day and night to bring new customers to your door, potentially for years. That is how you get an incredible return on a small budget. Okay, so you're probably thinking, this sounds great, but I'm just one person. Where do I even start? Let's get practical. Let's look at the toolkit. The key here isn't to do everything at once, but to do a few things really, really well. Here are 3 super powerful formats to get you started. Blog posts, these are your foundation for getting found on Google. Pro tip, just title them with the exact question your customer is typing into the search bar. Short form video is unbeatable for grabbing attention. Your smartphone is all you need. And interactive content, well, that's kind of like your secret weapon. Yeah, let's zoom in on that interactive content. Things like simple quizzes or calculators convert visitors into leads at twice the rate of a regular article. Why? It's because they get your audience to participate. They get instant personalized value. And in return, you get a super qualified lead. It's a win-win. But, and this is so important, just creating random content here and there is not going to work. That's a recipe for burnout. Content without a system is like throwing darts in the dark. You need a simple, repeatable process. Understand your audience, plan your content on a calendar, and then measure the results. And when you measure, please focus on the metrics that actually move your business forward. Forget vanity stats like likes. We're talking about how many new people are finding you through search, how many of those are turning into real leads, and how much did it actually cost to get that new customer. These are the vital signs of a healthy business.
Now, I know this can all seem like a lot to take on, but the path to sustainable growth is always a marathon, never a sprint. It's all about being strategic and, most importantly, consistent.
So the single most important takeaway here is this. Your competitive advantage isn't the size of your wallet, it's the size of your brain and your commitment. You compete on your expertise and your consistency. Just pick one content format, master it, prove that it's getting results, and only then should you think about expanding.
And that's really where this whole journey begins. Don't even think about making content. Instead, just ask yourself this one simple question. What is the single biggest, most frustrating problem my audience is dealing with, and how can I create something that genuinely solves it for them right now? Just start there.